Hey, it's George from Hampton's Horror. It's been a while since I've uploaded any videos. Been pretty busy with work and whatnot. But for the month of June, I'm going to be doing a series of my favorite silent horror characters, main characters, essentially, in films. And I'm going to break it down into 4 parts. This is going to be part 1. And should be fun. It's something a little different than reviewing a film. But anyway, part 1 is going to be Nick Castle, who played Michael Myers in the 1978 John Carpenter film, Halloween. Recently, my wife and I had the privilege of meeting Nick in Queens at a sci-fi convention. One of the nicest, not even in the horror community, just one of the nicest people I've ever met. Really down to earth, super chill. And we ended up getting some photos with him, and he signed a 2018 Halloween action figure or figurine of Michael Myers. And something interesting was, as a young adult watching the Halloween films, I saw Michael Myers as a towering, scary figure, which he still is a scary, towering figure. But meeting Nick in person, he's not much taller than I. I'm about 6 foot when I stand up straight, hunched over right now. So probably more close to 5'10". But he's only got an inch or two on me. Figured he'd be a little taller. But anyway, back to the film. I'm not going to be mentioning any of the other Halloween films, strictly the original and the OG Michael Myers, The Shape, Nick Castle. And out of the 3 main horror figures regarding, I guess, Freddy, Jason, and Michael, out of those 3, my favorite definitely is Michael. And the thing I like about the original film is there's not really much of a motive for Michael regarding going after Laurie, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and her friends, aside from Laurie dropping off the key at the Myers residence, where Michael is once he escapes. And films in general that I've seen regarding horror and thrillers, when there's no motive involved, to me, that's some of the scariest stuff. So the fact that he hunts down Laurie and her friends, as well as the kids that she's babysitting, is very unsettling, especially nowadays with how people are. You just pop on the news and you see just random acts of violence and stuff where the people perpetrating the acts of violence have no connection to the people they're harming. You could just be out one day and something could happen. You never know. And that was the thing that scared me the most about the original Halloween. In this Halloween 2, you find out that Laurie is actually Michael's other sister, so it makes more sense of why he targets her in particular. But in the first one, you don't know that. You find out that he killed his sister Judith when he was, I believe, 6, and then he was committed, and Dr. Loomis looks after him, tries to get through to him, and says in his eyes, there's just complete evil. And Michael doesn't speak or anything. So X amount of years, he tries to communicate with Michael, realizes that's not working. So the rest of the time he's with Michael, he tries to make sure Michael doesn't get out. And that was another thing about the original film that really scared me, was a lot of the scenes where you don't see Nick's eyes. He's wearing the essentially William Shatner mask, and it's just black in the eyes, and he's credited, the character is credited as the Shape when the credits roll. And Michael is just supposed to signify evil. Later down the line, you have the Rob Zombie films where he tries to, I guess, humanize Michael. In a way, I can understand doing that, but I honestly didn't care for the Rob Zombie stuff. The Halloween ones, I didn't. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, I thought those were decent films. But I feel like, at least in my eyes, Michael is a character you're not supposed to really humanize at all. And then further down in the series, they do other stuff, cult things and shit. Didn't really care for that. So as a standalone film, I think the first one is a masterpiece. And with Nick, just how he would walk, and there's the scene where he kills, I believe the character's name is Bob, just pins him up against the wall with the knife, and then he does the famous head tilt as if he's like admiring his work, I guess you could say. I always would get chills seeing that. And now that's a known Michael Myers mannerism, tilting the head slightly. And like I said, the whole idea of it being more or less random. If she didn't drop that key off while Michael was there, based on what you know in the first film, she wouldn't have been attacked. So it took that little action of her leaving the key, essentially was the catalyst for the whole film. But the films where it's no motive or little to no motive, I do find the scariest, because part 2 I'll cover another character I love, and the film I'll probably go into depth because it's essentially 2 films, but I believe the second one is a million times better. But this was my video on Michael Myers, why I like him, the 1978 Michael Myers, not the stuff that's later on. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Who is your favorite silent horror movie character, if you have one? I'd like to see what it is. If you'd like to leave a comment, maybe it's Michael Myers, maybe it's Art the Clown, Jason. The list can go on and on. But this was part 1. Hope you enjoyed it, and part 2 will be up shortly. Peace.